Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video in my Mira's Finest series. This time I'm going to be taking on Nardacyon with Hope, and just like usual, I'm going to be kind of talking about how Hope plays as a character and her different strengths and weaknesses. So unfortunately, Hope is not really that good of a character. She's kind of outclassed by L, who is already not great in and of himself. But I'm still going to kind of talk about the pros of her first, because I feel like it's important to kind of, you know, go through her strengths, because she does have a few things that she can do pretty well. So in terms of buffing arts, she does have some pretty good single target buffing arts in Energy Source, Repair, and Absorber Skin. Um, Energy Source isn't tremendously useful for her because, at least not for her to use in a solo setting, because she just doesn't have any good arts that utilize potential. She doesn't have any good offensive TP arts, and her only healing art being Repair also doesn't even benefit from potential. So not really a whole lot going on there, but they are good if you want to have her in more of a supportive role. And speaking of being supportive, she does have some good arts for inflicting debuffs in Stellar Ray, Black Butterfly, and she also does have Brainjack Servant Sacrifice, though it's worth knowing that that's only really useful for grinding and late in the story, and even then I don't think you'd be using Hope for that because she's unlocked through affinity missions and not really obtained through the story itself. Tactic Censure inflicts virus. Most high level or difficult enemies are going to be immune or have just really high resistance to virus, so it's not really that good of an art, but it's there, I guess. And she does have a topple art in Starlight Kick. Unfortunately, she does lack long topple, but it's there if you want to use it. So next, let's talk about her aura. She has Astral Protection, Secondary Speed, and Full Specs. Full Specs is actually a pretty good aura, and boosts potential range attack and ether resistance. I've used this in some of my other builds. It's just, it doesn't fit well with her because cycle launches just aren't a very good offensive ranged weapon. So she doesn't really make use of the range attack whenever she doesn't have any good TP arts to make use of the potential. Secondary speed kind of falls into the same thing, where reducing secondary cooldown isn't tremendously useful for her, and auto attack intervals is just not helpful at all. And then, which only really leaves Astral Protection, which is a very solid defensive aura, but L also has this, and as I said, she's kind of outclassed by L already. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot going on with her arts, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about the build that I'm going to be running here. So as you saw, I'm running Astral Protection, which means that I don't need to stack up too high in the resistances. I only need about 50 of each. And I am running both Resist Stun and Resist Beam Res Down. The reason why I'm running Resist Beam Res Down, even though I have a Cleanse Art, is because Amazdal Finale is one of Nardacyon's arts, and it's a 2-hit attack that inflicts Beam Res Down 5. So essentially, if I want, that will kill me if I don't have resist beam res down, or around probably about 125, 130 beam resistance. And if I'm going to stack that much beam resistance, it's basically better just to run the resist beam res down and call it a day. The cleanse is still useful though, because it will allow me to clear off other debuffs should I want to do so. Much like this build is just going to be kind of like a worse version of L's build that I used for the same fight. Night Vision, ranged attack up, same as last time. I'm also running beam cycle launches so that I can get benefit out of the beam res down from Stellar Ray. And other than that, I'm also just running Aura Rapid Cooldown in my last 2 free augment slots because there's nothing that's really better for me to be putting in those augment slots right now, and that'll just let me use my arts faster. And like I said, I don't really need any more resistances, so they're just kind of like open slots that I just wanted to fill with something. Going to the arts for this build, Astral Protection is the aura I'm going to be running. It is a very good aura. With the secondary cooldown, it gives you 50 resistances across the board, so that's extremely nice. Absorber's Skin gives Barrier 5 and has immediate reuse. Just a good buff for solo runs. Repair, I really kind of want to just is my cleanse art. It's not tremendously useful here because I don't have to worry about being res down, but it can still be handy, and if worst case scenario, it's always just a can give me a bit of healing, and it's just a green art with immediate reuse. Energy source is kind of just here as well for that, just being a green art with immediate reuse for the cooldown. I can also use it to block launch if I end up needing to or wanting to do that, but it's not tremendously useful on this build. It's just kind of there to fill the slot. Stellar Ray and Shooting Star here for doing damage. Not really a whole lot more to say there. They're the only ranged arts she has, so I'm just running both of them. And Tactic Censure is just here as a purple art. Like I said, Nardacyon's immune to virus, so that's not helpful. It's just kind of here so that if I need some extra TP, I can click Tactic Censure and get a bit of extra TP. And for the skills that I'm running, I'm going to be running Supreme Sword to increase damage in melee combos. Nothing particular to say about that. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of green arts into my ranged arts, which all my green arts are melee, so this will get me melee combos and boost my damage just a little bit. And Mechanoid Slayer is here for the same reason, just boosting my damage a little bit since Nardacyon is Mechanoid. Then TP Overdrive is here to help with TP economy. She doesn't really have any other skills that are tremendously useful for this fight. King's Degree is worth noting, but again, it's not tremendously useful come late game as Control is just not very good against most powerful enemies. And then Night Soul is here if you need extra TP, buff heal. Yeah, not really a whole lot to say about her other skills. So with that out of the way, I think I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the fight. Go and get the second cooldown on Astral Protection. Just start building my overdrive count. So green arts into Stellar Ray are going to be my main way of building overdrive count for this build. It's a little bit slow, but it does get the job done, and that's all that really matters. Go ahead and refresh my aura to get a bit extra overdrive duration. And my overdrive count at this point is high enough for me to just start attacking, so I'm gonna just go ahead and start working on damage. Shooting Star can inflict shock, which is nice for this because it is just a little bit of extra damage, but it's not really enough to focus too heavily on. It's just not, doesn't do a ton of extra damage, but it's something that I thought would be worth noting. Other than that, it's going to be kind of cycling Stellar Ray and Shooting Star, and keeping up your Astral Protection so that you don't die. Start phase 3, so I'm gonna wait for a sec to try to block the launch. I mistimed it, yeah. Oh well. Don't fall off the platform, that's the big thing that matters. Probably gonna use Photon next. No, he's gonna come over here next. So I'm gonna go ahead and refresh my aura, because it's been a while and I don't want to die. And just keep cycling damage. Should be entering phase 3 pretty soon now. Yep, there we go. So also going to be doing a little more damage now that Nardacyon is broken off his armor. It should be over pretty soon. Yeah, I blocked it that time. Let's go. Pog. Yeah, one more Stellar Ray should finish this, or if not, should get close. Yeah. Close. We're gonna get launched here, and this should be the end of the fight. Yeah. So that is Nardacyon the Shadowless on foot solo with Hope. Hope's not a particularly good character, but she does get the job done. And I hope that you enjoyed. See you guys next time.